None of the parties have said anything about vaccine safety or efficacy or asking any questions along these lines. Alternative treatments for COVID, okay? Like fresh air, but also ivermectin and other kinds of drugs that are readily available in other jurisdictions. Can everybody hear me at the back? I understand. Okay, good. All right. They've had nothing to say about rampant social media censorship. Okay? And we're seeing bill after bill after bill. They want to have this national censorship bureau. That's not the name of it, but that's the effect of it. I don't even remember the name. Digital safety, I don't know, maybe, you remember, Adam, what it's called? Some new thing that's coming out. Basically, it's a censorship bureau that's going to tell Facebook and these other things that they're not censoring things enough. Well, Facebook's doing a good job on their own. They don't need any help. They need a good kick in the pants is what they need. You know, and we have in the Conservative Party, and you know, don't get me wrong, I'm going to talk about lots of good things tonight, but I just want to paint the picture that the legacy parties have failed us. So I know that many of you believe me, but I'm just going to paint that picture. You know, we had the Conservative leader vote against that would have eliminated sex-selective abortion. So that's when the only reason someone's having an abortion is because they don't want a girl, okay? So Erin O'Toole voted this down. Right? I mean, this is a bill that's, you know, not overly controversial to most Canadians. You know, many Canadians could understand where that bill's coming from. He voted it down. Your MP from this riding voted it down. How many people in this room are from the Banff Airdrie riding? Is it most people here? Okay, looks like many, if not all. How many people here know who your MP is? Okay. Okay, all right. So in this riding, 72% of the people voted Conservative, and he couldn't find it in his heart to support Conservative values. I mean, it's not like he's going to lose, or at least not last time, right? But this is the kind of thing we're seeing. We're just seeing support for all the politically correct stuff, all of the stuff that, you know, average Canadians don't like. What you should be expecting for your MP is the sorts of things that I was able to do after I got kicked out. And, you know, I have a hardworking staff, but there's nothing stopping the other MPs from doing the types of things that my team was able to do. We did 2 press conferences, which became in the top 10 most watched CPAC videos of all time. Okay? And one of them became the most watched CPAC video of all time in 2 days. So that's more than any Justin Trudeau press conference, more than any question period, more than any, you know, there's a few exciting ones, you know, where you know, occasionally an MP will pass out in the House of Commons or things like this. Even the blooper reel did not get as many views as our medical censorship press conference on Parliament Hill. And in fact, we did this press conference with medical whistleblowers that came to us, a couple of professors and a doctor from here in Canada. Thankfully, CPAC, which is, you know, our political broadcaster, it's a consortium of broadcasters, has to broadcast things that go on in Parliament Hill. So they broadcast it. YouTube let it go for about 3 weeks, and then they pulled it down. So it'd probably have well over 1 million views now, but they pulled it down. And that's what we're facing in this country, you know, an actual parliamentary event getting shut down. And Canadians deserve to see what's going on Parliament Hill, whether for good or ill. That's right. And there were some other things that were going on in Parliament. There's many bills. I don't want to get into them all, but there was many far left bills that were happening. There was a motion that said that, you know, Quebec has the unilateral right to change the Constitution. And only myself and Jody Wilson-Raybould voted against that. Okay, no Conservatives did. We had a bill that's going to permit mail-in balloting for the next election. I was the only person to vote against that. we had a motion that said there shouldn't be another election so long as the pandemic lasts. I was the only person to vote against that motion. Right? Now, listen, it was all hypocrisy. All the parties were planning for an election anyways, but they're trying to say, we're not planning, you know. So this is the kind of gamesmanship that we're seeing every single day in Parliament. And, you know, there was a lot of other things going on, too. I mean, I'm not going to get into all the bills, but to give you an example of the kind of thing we're seeing, you know, Bill C-21 and C-22 were being debated in the same week. Bill C-21 was about putting more restrictions on legal firearms owners. Bill C-22 was about getting rid of mandatory minimum sentences for criminals who commit gun-related crimes. So, you know, the irony is lost on the majority of parliamentarians, but this is the kind of logic that we're dealing with. And I could list many other bills, I'm not going to get into it, but this is the kind of logic that we're seeing in our parliamentary system.